Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. Where today, thankfully, Timmy said he wasn't gonna come on here and gloat after what his Cowboys did to my Colts. wasn't our best outing. But you got me all day, and we're gonna start by recapping last week's games. Clearly, I got a lot I'll be thinking about. So the first game that we talked about last week was the Bills at the Patriots. Now, when we looked at this game, we knew. I mean, you had to know this was a must win for the Bills. I'm not when I say must win, they had to at least split with them with the Patriots, but it feels like how things are going, they might have to beat the Patriots twice, and I don't know the last time that happened. So I think to at least get this win, it means a lot in terms of where they were. But it was a very good bounce back game. They won 24-10. Bills won 24-10. I think it was a really good bounce back game for how they've been playing. They've been playing up and down, and actually the last like 6 weeks has been a lot more down. Josh Allen turned the form, 22 of 33, 223, two touchdowns, no picks. That's a big thing right there, not having picks. Stephon Diggs, 7 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown. It just feels like they got back to form. Their collective running game. See, the one thing I like about the Bills, when they can collectively run the ball, I think they're more versatile. And the one thing that I get scared about with them is they say, Josh Allen, save us. And put everything on his back. And you need to take something off his back. But James Cook, 14 carries, 64 yards. It's not a lot. Devin Singletary, 13 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. It's not that it's like so much, but it's over 100 yards. So when Josh Allen has 100 yards rushing, they look very good. Mac Jones, 22 of 36, 195, a touchdown, no picks. Yeah, I mean, not really much to talk about in terms of the Patriots and their offense, but they've been shocking teams all year. I mean, we knew that they were going to be limited on offense, and they've still found a way to put up points. So this is interesting. I'm very interested to see them going forward. I believe we both picked Buffalo. So that was 1-0 for us. So then the next game that we had, nope, I'm gonna go to yeah, okay. So the next game we had the Dolphins at the 49ers. Now I knew this was going to be a big game. Um I was very curious to see. My pick, I remember we both went with the 49ers. The one thing that I like are defensive teams that can bring down offensive numbers. Anytime that you can bring down an offensive number, you can it really throws a wrench into everything they wanted to do because their thought process is I'm gonna just put up points on you. And so when they can't, it really messes everything up. And I felt like the 49ers could do it. So that'll be 2-0 for both of us. Tua was 18 and 33, not very efficient. 295 yards, two touchdowns, two picks. So, I mean, he put up yards. I mean, of course, you're going to put up yards in this kind of offense, but I mean, he had a pretty average game. I would say this is an average game for him. Tyreek Hill, 9 receptions, 146 yards, one touchdown. I mean, he's been doing this all year, but that's here nor there. Um, but the story from this game is Jimmy Garoppolo is out for the year. Um, that changes a lot of things in terms of where I think San Fran is going to be. Even at the beginning of the season, when the young guy, please excuse me, Trey Lance. Trey Lance, when he came in, I never thought that he was better than Jimmy Garoppolo. I just said they might need to move on. But insert Jimmy Garoppolo back into this offense and look at how they were playing. Now they weren't a team that could beat you over the top, but they were efficient and they were a team that takes advantage of a matchup problem. They have a matchup problem for you on that offense through the wide receivers, the tight end, the running backs. They have a matchup problem and they exploit it, and that's kind of how they are. But now with Jimmy Garoppolo going down, I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting how all of this shapes up. You know what I mean? I think this definitely like for me, eliminates them from the possibility of being in the Super Bowl. Um, I'm not 100% sure they're going to win their division now. We still have to see. They have a couple games now that it looks like they could lose, but and I mean you also look the Seahawks are right behind them. You know, one game behind them. So and they play each other one other time. So it's just luckily for them the Seahawks probably have some games that they can lose too. So I have to see. I'm not ready to to eliminate anybody from that division yet, but yeah, man, that's real sad. I feel real bad for the 49ers fans, man, because this looked amazing. Um, all right. Let's get to it, y'all. Timmy's Cowboys, uh, they put a whooping on my Colts. The score was Dallas 54, Indy 19. Now I will say this game was close for about 3 quarters. We played them tough. We were you know, it wasn't perfect looking. It wasn't great for us, but we were definitely hanging with them. And then pick sixes in the fourth quarter. Um, it's the same old thing for us. You know what I mean? Like Matt Ryan, he looks washed. The offensive line, I still don't understand how our offensive line was really good. I mean, top of the league last year. We signed 90% of that line. Okay, one person retired, one person went in free agency, but 90% of that line came back, and we had a rotation of players that were supposed to step in, and our line goes to like the worst line in the NFL. I've never seen anything like this, where like also we invested the most amount of money out of any team into our offensive line, and it's like the worst. I've never seen anything like that. So, but yeah, I mean, Matt Ryan 21 to 37, not great. 233 yards, decent. 2 touchdowns, okay. 3 interceptions, bad. Jonathan Taylor, 21 carries, 82 yards. There's not much I can say about that. Alec Pierce had a pretty good game, 4 receptions, 86 yards, and a touchdown. And Ashton Doolin, actually, he hit Trayvon Diggs with a sluggo. Man, that was bad, but that was his only catch of the game, so that's here nor there. Dak was 20 of 30, 170 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Yeah, like I just didn't think that like they were like I was wrong there. So Timmy gets a point there, and I have to eat humble pie. So in this week, moving on, in this week, in the game of the week, stunner, and both of us were wrong about this because we both picked the Chiefs. The Bengals go in and beat the Chiefs again. What is going on here? I don't know. I just saw a stat today. Patrick Mahomes is 0-3 against Joe Burrow. The one thing I want to say about this, we finally have a rivalry. And actually, it's more like I can't wait to see these playoffs because it's more like a 3-team rivalry with the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals, because they every team has something to say against the other one, and that's going to be crazy come playoff time. But before I say what I want to say, I want to go over the stats. Pat was 16-27, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. Um, you know, um, he spread the ball around. I mean, not much to really say about that. You know what I mean? But he looked good. I mean, he didn't look bad. It was just they were ready for him. Joe Burrow, 25 of 31, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I don't know where the Bengals are going to end up. Like if their record, like if they don't lose again, their record is going to be one of the top 2 teams. In that situation, this is Joe Burrow's MVP game. Like he was efficient. Like he took it to him. In this game, he was the better quarterback. And you don't say that. When was the last time you said Patrick Mahomes was not the best quarterback in this game? You rarely say that. So I can't remember the last time that happened. But it was a very much a team effort. Samaje Perine, 21 carries, 106 yards. You know what I mean? Jamar Chase came back, 7 receptions, 97 yards. See, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes we have debates about uh who's top five and everything. Like Jamar Chase, man, like he's a difference maker, you know. But I do want to say this. I think like so over the last 2 weeks, you've seen the Bengals play the two teams in the playoffs that they did eliminate. So last year, the number one seed in the AFC playoffs was the Tennessee Titans. They eliminated them then. The rematch where Tennessee is like, this is the team that we wanted to see because they eliminated us. They go in and they handle business. Then they go and play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game in Arrowhead. They go ahead, they eliminate them. They come back this year for the grudge match, and I expected the Chiefs to win, not only because I felt like they're getting back on stride, and I felt like they were the better team, but also I didn't think the Bengals were a team to go back to back weeks and beat teams that are gunning for them. Like they're like these are teams gunning for them. Like they know it's like they know what it feels like to be gunned for, where everybody's hunting you. The Chiefs know what it feels like to be hunted every week. The Bengals don't know what it feels like to be hunted every week. In the last 2 weeks, they were hunted and they still handled business. So watch out for the Bengals. They might go back to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We're going to hold our opinions on that, but yeah, they might go back to the Super Bowl. I don't know, man. Like this is pretty crazy. Um, so yeah, that was week 13, man. That was a crazy week, man. It was one of my favorite weeks this whole year, man. A lot of stuff was happening. Um, so what we're gonna do this a little different. We're gonna go right into week 14. So I'm gonna tell you the games that I'm looking at. So I'll say this: these week games, they're not as good as what happened last week. It's just not as good. Um, but I think we got some games that should pay some dividends. All right. So first thing we got Bills and we got Jets. Now I'll say this: if the Jets lose this game, I think we're starting to see a pattern where they're going to start to eliminate themselves from the playoffs. And when we looked up, they were like, 7-4. You know what I mean? They were like, oh wow. But now that after losing a couple games, I think this is a must win for the Jets. I think if they lose this game, I don't know. This gets a little iffy. Um, but I kind of do think the Bills are going to win, especially because they lost to them earlier in the year. So I don't see the Jets sweeping the Bills, and yeah, I think I think there's going to be some trouble in Jets County, So that's my prediction there. Um, Also now we got the Eagles and the Giants. The Eagles are actually playing in New York. Um, Earlier in the season, if I'm not mistaken, they did play. Hold on, let me see. Did they play? Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna let you know if they played. Um, no, this is the first time they played each other this year. So this is the first of two games. So this one being in New York, it's a divisional game. I actually expect the Eagles to take this. That doesn't mean I think that they're going to sweep them. But I kind of think the Eagles are going to go in and beat the Giants here. I think the Eagles are really on the roll, man, and I am on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon now because I saw him. He's hard to deal with, man. He's hard to beat, and when he's spreading the ball around and getting into a rhythm, I don't know, man. So I'm actually going with the Eagles there. So that's two. Um, so then moving on, we got the 49ers and the Buccaneers. Um not the game that everybody thought it would be in the when we came into the regular season, when we started the season, but I think it'll be a pretty good game. Unfortunately, I don't see a third string quarterback. What's his name? Brock. Let's see if they even Brock Purdy. I don't see Brock Purdy beating Tom Brady. So even though it's in San Fran, I'm gonna go with the GOAT here, and I'm going Bucks to handle business. Like I said, I feel real bad for 49ers. Now they lost Garoppolo, but yeah, man, I see the 49ers losing this game. Absolutely. All right. And for the game of the week this week, I'm going Dolphins and Chargers. Look, I'm looking at that game. Now, here's why I say this is the game of the week. I'm gonna say this, and I've been saying this whole year. I've been saying, oh, the Chargers are gonna miss the playoffs. And I've said that since the first time when they lost to the Chiefs. I said this team is not. I don't get it. Their team is constructed very well. They got a quarterback, they got a running back, they got wide receivers, they got a defense. I don't really get it, but they're the Chargers. This is just what the Chargers do. They let you down. So I think this is a must-win game for the Chargers. Actually, they were just saying that the probability for the Chargers to even make the playoffs, the Chargers right now have a 33% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose this game, they're done. And even if they win this game, that don't mean that they're not done or that they're even going to make the playoffs. I'm saying they have to win this game. And once again, I think they got the better quarterback. I think they may not have the better weapons, but they have weapons comparable to what's in Miami. It's in LA. I mean, we got to see. Let's see, but I'm not. Who do I think is going to win this game? You know what? All intensive purposes, I think the Chargers will win this game. That does not mean that I think that they're going to make the playoffs. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think the Chargers will win this game. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Um, yeah. So, but that's the game of the week. So I picked Bucks over Niners. I picked Eagles over Giants. I picked Bills over Jets, and I'm picking Chargers. I'm picking Chargers over Dolphins. So that's my picks for this week. We got down to it. Um, I'm curious to see what's going on, but yeah, man, I think this is going to be a very interesting situation. So moving on, so like we're getting close to the playoffs, guys, and this playoff picture, it's starting to shape up, but there's some interesting, excuse me, there's some interesting caveats here. So let's start with the NFC. So in first place, the Eagles 11-1. You get that. Vikings 10-2. I thought the Vikings would be good. I didn't think they would be this good. And I'm curious. I have some things to say about them. 49ers in third at 8-4. I feel real bad for the 49ers, man. I feel real bad. The Bucks at 5-6. They're in fourth seed. So those are the division leaders right now. So if the playoffs started, they would be hosting the a playoff game. Then we have in the fifth seed, Dallas at 9-3. Dallas just hoping that the Eagles lose. Really hoping that the Eagles lose, but we'll see. Then we got the Giants in the sixth seed, 7-4-1. They holding on, man. They are holding on, aren't they? And then we got the Seahawks at 7-5 at the seventh seed. And then in the eighth seed, at 7-5-1, only a half a game. Outside of it, we got the Washington Commanders staying strong. Now there's a gap. I think after that, everybody else they're done. But like these like I could see a scenario. I could see a scenario where the Giants and Seahawks make the playoffs. I can see a scenario where the Seahawks and Commanders make the playoffs, and I can see a scenario where the Giants and the Commanders make the playoffs. This time last week, all four of the NFC East teams were in the playoffs. So you're looking at some really dynamic things. I really don't. This is going to be really interesting down the stretch, and I'm really excited when we finally do our final playoff predictions that we're gonna have to make a decision on that. But like, man, this is crazy. But the one thing I do think about the NFC, and this is where I'm at. The Vikings, they got blown out by the Eagles, and they got blown out by the Cowboys. They're going to see one of those two teams in the playoffs. Here's what I think about the Vikings though. I think that all right, so when a team is as talented as you and you blow them out, they want to play you again. They're motivated they want you, like all they want is you. Not only do they really want to play you and they're motivated, they got an opportunity to see why did we lose, which is why it's always so hard to sweep a team in the NFL or beat a team twice in the NFL. And I could see them absolutely beating either one of those teams in the playoffs when they with a rematch. And I think the monkey wrench that could be thrown into what you expect, I think, is the Vikings. And I'm very curious to see how that pans out. Okay. So moving over to the AFC, right now in first place. Now they played terrible over the last 6 weeks, and they're in first place. I mean, because of a default, but the Bills are in first place in the AFC. That's scary. That's scary. And they have a tiebreaker because they beat the Chiefs, who are also at 9-3. They're in second place right now. The Ravens are in third place. Ravens got lucky this week, didn't they? They almost lost to the Broncos. Actually, from here on out, as a Colts fan, I want the Broncos to start winning. I want all these teams to win. I just want to lose out. I don't want to. We're done this year. So the Ravens, I'm actually a little mad at you. You should have lost to the Broncos, but that's just me being selfish. Fourth place, set at 7-5, you got the Titans. At fifth place, so once again, the top four teams, they would host the playoff game. And at that fifth seed, you got the Bengals. At 8-4. And like I said, they are a team. You don't want to play them. I don't know. Like even if the Ravens were the wild card team, I think you would rather play the Ravens than the Bengals. But if the Bengals get to that 3 spot, they're gonna be, I don't know, man. I would like, because right now they would play, if the playoffs started today, they would be going to Arrowhead to play the Kansas City, and then I think they might lose that game, only because you know how things work. But we'll see. Right now at 8-4, we got the Dolphins in the 6th seed, and right now we got the Jets in the 7th seed, and then we got the Patriots at the 8th seed at 6-6, tied with the Chargers at 6-6, on the 9th seed. So this is what I'm saying. Like the Chargers, they hanging on by a thread. They have to win this week. And if they don't, I think this is it. I think that's a wrap for them. But these playoffs, man, like I kind of see a scenario where the Jets start to slide. So I think the Dolphins are definitely in there. I think the top 6 teams in the AFC are definitely in there. And then we're talking about 7, 8, and 9. So you're talking about 3 teams going in there. And I mean, when you look at it, it should be the Chargers, but I just don't know. It could be the Patriots, man, or the Jets could do their thing. I just don't think it's gonna be this week. But yeah, man, we getting close to that time, man. It's getting colder. The hits are getting harder, and I'm very, very excited about what's going on. So, with that said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in again. Please like, share, subscribe, tell people that about us because this is something a lot of people need to see, man. So once again, I'm your host Tariq, telling you, cuz you don't know football. I see you guys next week.